Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to today's story time. Today is February the 23rd, 2022, and we're going to spend 10 minutes total trying to read 2 pages, and we're working on fluency, how smooth and easily we read, and how accurate we articulate each word. Are you ready? We will be reading from African American History. It's a child's introduction to African American history, and we will be reading pages 40 and 41 today. The title of these 2 pages is Achievements in Sports. Let's begin. Fastest man alive. Standing atop the medal stand, Jesse Owens stood proudly while the U.S. national anthem was played. It was 1936 in Berlin, Germany, and Owens had just thrilled a packed Olympic stadium with his speed and grace. He had come a long way from Oakville, Alabama. Although he was sickly as a child, he was expected to work and help feed the family. By age 7, he was picking up to 100 pounds of cotton a day. His family moved to Ohio when he was 9. In high school, his athletic talent became well known. He set several national high school records before joining the track team at the Ohio State University. In college, teammates and fans began to call him the Buckeye Bullet for his speed. German leaders had predicted that America's black athletes would fail in Berlin. Owens and his teammates proved them wrong. Black athletes captured 6 of the 11 gold medals won by the United States. Of those, Jesse Owens won 4. Along the way, he set an Olympic long jump record that stood for 25 years. Back home in the States, he would face racism and hard times. The president would fail to congratulate him. He would struggle with sickness and the cruelty of an ungrateful nation. But that day, on the medal stand, all of that was yet to come. He was the fastest man alive, and nothing else mattered. Brown Bomber. When boxer Joe Louis knocked out Max Schmeling in 1938, Americans ran out of their homes and cheered in the streets. The German Schmeling fell to the canvas in the first round, inspiring Americans to imagine a similar victory over the Nazi regime. Just 2 years after Jesse Owens' Olympic triumph in Berlin, an American athlete had embarrassed Adolf Hitler yet again. Joe Louis's rise to the top of the heavyweight ranks began in Detroit. His family had been part of the Great Migration, moving to the Motor City from a little shack in Lafayette, Alabama. When Louis first began to box at local gyms, he didn't have much skill, but he could hit hard, and his punching power got him through some tough matches. At age 20, he had improved enough to win the National Amateur Athletic Union Championship. By 1937, the Brown Bomber was the world champ and ready for a rematch with Schmeling, who had beaten him the year before. He reigned at the top of the sport for 11 years and 8 months before retiring in 1949. Lewis tried to make a comeback 2 years later, but his best years were behind him. In 1993, 12 years after his death at age 66, he became the first boxer ever featured on a U.S. postage stamp. The first. Like Jesse Owens, Jackie Robinson had multiple athletic gifts. His brother Mac had finished second behind Owens in the 200-yard dash at the Berlin Olympics. At UCLA, Jackie Robinson had excelled in 4 sports: baseball, basketball, football, and track. After college, he served 2 years in the military before turning to Negro League baseball. He was starring for the Kansas City Monarchs when he was offered a contract with the Montreal Royals of the International League, a team affiliate with the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1946. The Brooklyn Dodgers general manager Branch Rickey wanted Robinson to put in time with the minor league team before being called up to the majors. On April 15, 1947, he took the field at first base and became the first athlete of color to play a major league sport in the modern era. Robinson excelled despite taunts from opposing players on the field and insults from spectators in the stands. He played 10 years with the Dodgers, making Major League Baseball's All-Star team 6 times. He was Rookie of the Year in 1947 and led the Dodgers to a World Series title in 1955. In 1962, he became the first African American elected to the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Robinson died in 1972 at age 53. On April 15, 1997, 50 years after he broke the color barrier in professional baseball, his jersey number 42 was retired throughout baseball. Alice Coachman. At the 1948 Olympics in London, Alice Coachman high jumped 5 feet 6 1/8 inches. She set a new Olympic record and became the first Black woman to win a gold medal at the Games. Coachman's Olympic brilliance had been a long time coming. She had been dominant in her sport since her high school days in Albany, Georgia. Coachman had set national records at amateur athletic union contests while jumping in her bare feet. She was ready for the Olympics in 1940, but they were canceled because of World War II. The same thing happened in 1944. By 1948, Coachman had long been the best in her country. The Olympics that year gave her the chance to prove she was the best in the world. 4 years after her Olympic triumph, she signed a contract with Coca-Cola, becoming the first African American woman to receive an international endorsement deal. And we did it. We're under 10 minutes. And we read about 4 people in the Achievement in Sports, pages 40 and 41. Do you notice that I made at least about 4 mistakes while I was reading? Yes, I did. And do you notice that I just corrected myself and kept going? I want to thank you for taking the time to read with me and read along with me today. And I want to encourage you, if you mess up, just correct yourself and keep going. Don't feel embarrassed and don't be ashamed. Now, thank you so much for reading, and stay tuned for tomorrow's read. We'll be reading pages 42 and 43 tomorrow. I think we'll be reading about more achievements in sports, so I hope that you look forward to that and stay tuned.